Today we're looking at the consecutive run category of the 2026 National Mahjong League card. This is a real powerhouse section. This is a go-to section, the backbone of the card, of the playing card. It also is a section that's misunderstood. It can also be a bit overwhelming and hard to decipher at times. I also noticed that there's some tile blocks that are giving players some real trouble. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to read the hand clearly, how to identify the patterns, and how to avoid the most common mistakes. Because once you understand the idea that drives this section, it will be much easier. By the end, you'll be able to look at this section and actually know what you're doing. You'll be able to find the Maj hand sooner than later. You'll also be able to identify the invalid exposures that the other players put up on their racks. So let's get into it.
If you find this video helpful, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next video in the series, as well as other videos. The tiles I'm using today are the Garden Glow tiles from Bespoke Mahjong. In the consecutive run category, all tiles are used except for the win tiles. They're not used. So what I have laid out here are the tiles that are very popular or that will be in great demand this year. So the tiles are the number 2 tiles and the number 6 tiles and the number 5 tiles, which are connector tiles, the flower tiles, and the joker tiles, and of course the soap tiles, as they do double duty as a 0 and a white dragon as well. All right, let's start at the beginning, the first line, which has 2 hands. As we read the parentheses, it says any one suit and these numbers only. It's an exposed hand and worth 25 points. This is not a flexible hand because you have to use these numbers. The first one is 1 through 5, and the block tile combination is pair, pung, kong. This hand is basically the same as last year. They just have the pairs and the kongs moved around. So it still requires 2 pairs and a kong. And you have to be sure that you can get those 2 pairs. Otherwise, this hand will not come in for you. You can't use a joker in those pairs. And the second hand on this first line is 5 through 9. Same tile block combination, pair, pung, kong. And again, this is not flexible. You have to have a pair of 5s, a pung of 6s, a pair of 7s, a pung of 8s, and a kong of 9s. And again, jokers can be used in the pungs and the kongs. And you can have all jokers for your pungs or all jokers for your kongs. You just can't use them in the pair. And it has to be 1 suit. Looking at the second line, we have 2 hands. So let's read the parentheses. Any 1 or 2 suits, any 5 consecutive numbers. So the first hand, as we look here, is 1 suit, completely 1 suit, and we have a chow in the middle. And then the second hand, we have 2 suits. So let's look at those in the tile blocks. And please notice again that the chow, which is 3 tiles with 3 consecutive numbers. They have to be consecutive numbers, like 2, 3, 4 in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a chow. The card is showing us that the first hand there is 1 suit, and then the second hand is 2 suits. You can tell that by the colors. There's green and red. So let's look at how these are laid out in the tiles. I chose BAMs, and I'm going with 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So we begin here with our pung of flowers, our kong of 3s, 4, 5, 6 in single tiles, and then our kong of 7s. So that chow in the middle is single tiles, or they are single tiles. You cannot use jokers there. And you can use your jokers, as I'm showing, in the pung and the kong of 3s and the kong of 7s. The lowest chow combination would be 2, 3, 4. And the highest is 6, 7, 8, because you have to have a kong on either side. Here we're showing, or I'm showing, the 2 suits, and the different suit is the chow. So your kongs have to be the same suit. The chow tiles are placed differently within the hand than last year. They have to be in the middle. And then on either side of them is the lower consecutive number and the higher consecutive number. So here we have a kong. Well, we have our pung of flowers, kong of 2s, 3, 4, 5 in the chows, and then our Kong of number 6 tiles. Okay, let's move on and look at the third line down. As we read the parentheses, it says any 3 suits, so you have to have 3 suits, any 3 consecutive numbers. This is exposed and worth 25 points. So there has to be 3 different suits. Also, if you look there, the first 2 consecutive numbers are repeated, and then the third consecutive number is the number afterwards. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 3. So you can do 5, 6, 5, 6, and then 7. So it's really important to be looking at how the hand is laid out, as well as making sure that you read the parentheses. Let's take a look and see what these tiles are all about. This is such an interesting tile block pattern. So we have pair, pair, pung, pung, Kong. And the 4 and 5 in the first 2 pairs are BAMs. And then the 4 and 5 in the pungs are dots. And then 6 is the Kong. And I'm noticing that my hand is actually dead because I put up 7 crack as the Kong. And that actually needs to be 6 crack. So no jokers in those 2 pairs, but you can have jokers in the pung, in the 2 pungs, and that Kong. So again, that Kong needs to be 6 crack. Don't do what I did. We're looking at the 4th hand line down, and when we read the parentheses, it says any 1 or 2 suits, any 4 consecutive numbers. This is an exposed hand worth 25 points. So let's take a look and see what they look like in tiles. This one is a bit of a cozy comfort hand. So you can use jokers in all of the tile blocks and even use jokers for the whole block, like I'm showing there as at the Kong. So we have pung, pung, Kong, Kong. This one is all the same suit and 4 consecutive numbers. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm doing 6, 7, 8, 9 here. And the first hand is 1 suit, and then the second hand right here is 2 suits. So the 2 pungs are 1 suit, which I'm showing in cracks, 6, 7 crack, and then the 2 Kongs are another suit. So I have 8 Kong in dots and 9 Kong in dots. This hand is very straightforward, nothing tricky about it. Let's go to the 5th line down, and there are 2 hands on this. This is kind of a fun one. This is the dragon hand. Let's read the parentheses. And again, this one is important to really understand. So it's 1 or 2 suits, any run, dragons match the middle number. So they ran out of real estate here, and that's why they have D and S. That's dragons. So those dragons have to match the middle number if you're going to go for 2 suits. This is exposed hand, and it's worth 25 points. So we're looking at the first hand here on the 5th hand down line, and we have our pung of flowers, and then we have pair, pair, pung, and a Kong of dragons. And remember, there's no jokers in those 2 pairs. You can have the jokers in the 2 pungs and the Kong. That's not a problem. And the dragon has to be the corresponding dragon to the suits that you chose. So since I chose dots, the corresponding dragon is the soap dragon or the white dragon. This is what the hand looks like in 2 suits. So the middle pair has to match your dragons, the corresponding dragons. And here I have cracks in the middle, so I have to choose the red dragons. And here I put BAMs in the middle, and so the dragons have to be the green dragons. I want to reiterate how important it is to read your parentheses. The second suit has to be that middle pair, and those dragons have to correspond to the suit in that second pair. Okay, here's the fun one, the sextet of flowers. We're looking at the 6th line down. Let's read the parentheses. Any 1 suit, any 2 consecutive numbers. This is an exposed hand, and it's worth 30 points. I've actually done this hand twice. I really like it. It's a lot of fun. And this is one of the hands that are getting players in trouble. So let's look at this. So my consecutive numbers are 3 and 4, and I chose the suit crack, the crack suit. So we have Kong, sextet, Kong. Very simple. So you can have jokers in all of those tile blocks, not a problem. And one tile block can be made up of all jokers as well. So I'm just kind of playing around here and showing you. I think I've got, these jokers and the flowers look so much alike in this set. So you can have all jokers there, all flowers, any combination. I heard a story from one player in which she was told that she had to have a certain amount of flowers in that sextet. That's not true. I'm not quite sure where that information came from. So this is what it looks like as a winning hand. Let's talk about another way that players are having difficulty with this specific hand, or with sextets specifically. And they're only in flowers this year, no numbers. What I am doing is I'm creating a scenario here. I'm going to be pulling just 4 of the flower tiles, pretending like I've got 4 flowers, and I'm going for the sextet, so I have to have at least 6 flowers, or a combination of flowers and jokers, all flowers or all jokers. I think you get that. And let's say somebody discards a tile and I call it and I put it up and I put up a pung. This is what players are doing. They're putting up a pung thinking that then they just need to get another pung of flowers and that will equal the sextet. You cannot do that. You have got to have all 5 tiles that qualify. And then when you call your discard, you can put up the sextet. It would be the 6th tile. So you cannot do pung and have that equal a sextet. So I think there's something that's switching around in players' brains, because I've seen this happen a couple of times. Your exposure has to be that of 6 tiles. Any combination of flowers and jokers. Moving on down to the 7th line, we have 2 hands on the 7th line here. And let's read the parentheses. Any 1 or 3 suits, any 3 consecutive numbers. This is exposed and it's worth 25 points. So the first hand is 1 suit, showing you what that looks like. And the second hand is 3 suits. Now remember, flowers are not suited and they don't correspond with a suit like dragons. So your number tiles have to be in 3 different suits, 3 Kongs, if that's the way you go. And this is what the first hand looks like in that 7th line. Pretty straightforward. So you have your pair of flowers and then Kong, Kong, Kong. 3 consecutive numbers. Now I chose 2, 3, 4, all in cracks. And your Kongs can all have jokers and any combination of jokers. Let's see what that 3 suited hand looks like. And here we go. We got our pair of flowers and I have bam, cracks, and dots. I have a Kong of 2 bams, a Kong of 3 cracks, and a Kong of 4 dots. Pretty straightforward. Again, this kind of feels like a comfort hand, comfort cozy hand. We are at the last hand. This is the closed hand worth 35 points. Let's read the parentheses. Any 3 suits, any 4 consecutive numbers. So it has to be 4 consecutive numbers. Again, it's like that other one up there, except it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So you can go 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and then the pair would be an 8. So let's take a look and see what this looks like in the tiles. And the consecutive numbers I happen to choose are 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So when I have a tile laid on its side, that represents a single tile. So we have single pair pung, single pair pung, and then we go into a pair. Last year, we had our pair as flowers. We have 8 flower tiles in a set. This year, the pair are number tiles, and we only have a pool of 4 tiles to get those from. So theoretically, it was easier to get the flower pair last year than it will be to get the number pair this year. I wanted to show you the cover that I have on my National Mahjong League card. It's from Ma's Helping Hand. I love these covers. They are crystal clear. Nothing gets in the way. I'll put a link in the description. I don't get commission or anything. I just think these are the best covers since any cover. I also wanted to bring in the highlighting tapes. Now, what I'll do, the beginning of the new card, is I'll highlight the closed hands because they can sometimes really change from year to year. So I used different ones so you can see what they look like. They come off really easy, no damage to the card. They also look really neat too. It drives me crazy if my card is messy. So these go on, and then I put my cover on, and we're ready to rock and roll. I want to thank you so much for stopping by Flying Tiles. And next time, we're going to be looking at the odd category 13579. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.